Hey cooks, today is a day we've all been waiting for. It is time to do a test and review of the Hobart HL6. This mixer is a prototype mixer made to replace the N50 that never went to production. This is a very unique mixer and we get to play around with it today. My name is Amy and I'm on a mission to become a better cook. If you would like to join me, hit the subscribe button below. Now, let's test out the Hobart HL6. So a couple months ago, I was on a website called OfferUp, which is similar to like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. And I stumbled across this mixer in a unique way. Because I went on there and I was just searching stand mixer and not that much was coming up. So I just searched mixer and I got all kinds of stuff more than obviously stand mixer. Because a lot of people just call their mixer. So not only did I get stand mixers, but I got a lot of audio mixers as well. And very deep down on the list, there was an ad on there for a Hobart, and the price was $200. And I was like, $200 for a Hobart? So of course I clicked on it, right? And an ad came up to sell this mixer. And when I first saw it, I was like, I have never in my life seen a Hobart that looks like this. And so it intrigued me. So the seller had the model on there. So I did a bunch of research on it before I went to look at it. And I found out some unique things about this mixer. I did a full and complete story about this mixer when I first got it, and we did an unveiling. I'll put a link down in the description. So the short end of it is, some time ago, Hobart thought about replacing the N50 with a new model. And so they designed a new mixer called the HL6, and they ran one run of the mixer, and they were just prototype mixers to see the feasibility of making them and all that fun stuff, right? Unfortunately, the recession hit and they made a decision that they probably wouldn't be able to sell them because nobody was spending any money. So they scrapped the entire project. And the prototypes that were made were given out to employees and they weren't sold. So this mixer is very unique because it is a prototype to the N50. It was never put into production, and it was a mixer that was only given or sold to employees. And one of the things I figured this out based on some forums, because there was a little bit of excitement on a bread forum about this mixer because somebody had one. And I was like, that can't be true, right? But a lot of things confirmed that for me, and finally I got a confirmation after I did the whole story video about this mixer. I got a confirmation of that from Hobart. So the first thing that confirmed the story of this mixer in my mind was when I showed up to buy the mixer and I asked the seller, I was like, where did you get this mixer? And she told me that she bought it from a neighbor who was an executive at Hobart. So that confirmed the story that this possibly was a mixer that was a prototype and was never went into production. So I bought it, $200, right? It's a Hobart. And I was like, no matter what, it's worth $200. It's worth probably, $1,000 or more. So I bought it, and afterwards we did the story video about it. And one thing I was concerned of, because this is a prototype, if something goes wrong with it, there's no way I can get any parts for it. So I can never get a new bowl. I can never get new attachments to it. Hobart probably could fix the guts of it, but I can't get these accessories. So just for giggles, one day I called our local Hobart dealer and I asked them, is it possible that the bowl from an N50 would fit on this mixer? And I figured it wouldn't, but the response that I got from the local dealer was completely insane. He was totally rude, and he acted like I was completely crazy. He told me he had worked for Hobart for 25 years and Hobart has never made this model. He tried to tell me that this model didn't exist. And I said, it exists because one is sitting right in front of me, right? And I walked away from that conversation like, what? And so I told the guy, I will email you the video that I made of this mixer to prove that this mixer does in fact exist. And I emailed it to him. And the response I got from him was, let me send this up to corporate, right? So my little giggly, right? I'm like laughing. So he sent it directly to their corporate office to ask about this mixer. And I got a 2-line response from Hobart directly. Hobart said that the HL6 was a prototype mixer that was built to replace the N50 and never went into production. It was sold or given away to employees. So this mixer, I did confirm that this mixer is very rare. And I'm so glad to have it in the Amy Learns to Cook kitchen. You have absolutely no idea. And today, we're going to put this mixer to the test. Now, I didn't necessarily buy this to say, this is going to be a daily mixer, or this is going to be a mixer that I'm going to use all the time. I don't even know exactly what I'm going to do with it. Because, to be honest with you, I'm afraid to really abuse this thing because I can't get replacement parts for it. I want to do a basic review on it, and I will be using it in the future. It's just kind of in a weird status because it's one of these things that I just absolutely love it, and it is absolutely almost one of a kind. I have no idea how many of these prototypes they made. It could be they made 100, it could be they made 50, it could be they made 20 of them. I have absolutely no idea. All I know is this. This is a very rare mixer, and I'm looking forward to using it. Today, we are going to be making we're going to be using the paddle to make some peanut butter cookies, and we're going to be using the dough hook to make some bread dough. It does have a whisk. Unfortunately, the whisk is in really good shape. The top of it has a little bit of rusting on it, and I need to resolve that, and I don't know exactly how to approach removing that rust. So I'm just not going to use the whisk, but the paddle and the dough hook are ready to go. So let's get this review underway. So the overall look and feel of this mixer. This mixer is an absolute beast, right? You cannot take this and compare it to a residential mixer because the overall look and feel is a commercial machine. It does not have that luxurious experience for the cook. That is not what this mixer is made for. This mixer is made to be used in a commercial environment. So it doesn't have the soft, pretty edge to it, right? This HL6 is a 6-quart mixer. The N50 is a 5-quart, so it is a little bit bigger than the N50. In terms of the wattage, it's really strange because this is a DC motor, but the way they rate the watts is really different than they do something like this. And I'm really wondering about KitchenAid and the watts that they claim, because that's the KitchenAid commercial 8-quart. They claim that it is 1.3 horsepower, but I don't know how they're coming up with those figures. So I'm just going to leave that alone with KitchenAid because they've got some strange math going on. Because this mixer here if you look at what it's rated at, it's only like 300 watts. So I don't know if you can compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges in these mixers. I don't know if you can compare mixers when it comes to watts, because I don't really understand how a lot of these manufacturers are coming up with their ratings. So we'll just leave it at that, right? I think this is plenty powerful, and maybe someday we'll put it up against that. Hobart versus KitchenAid, right? So what's unique about this Hobart, it actually has a speed dial here that you can switch between speeds without having to stop it. One of the things with the N50 and a lot of the Hobarts is they have like a different kind of transmission on them that between speeds you have to shut it off and turn it off. So if you're going from speed 1 to 2, you go from 1, you go back to stop, and you go to 2. That's just because it has a different kind of transmission on it. This has actually a speed governor on it, similar to what a home version would have. This is like one of the first times that Hobart has had something like this, and the HL6 has it. So it has like a little jog, and it has a stir, and it goes up to 5. Woo, right? It is loud, it is squeaky, it is screechy, it is everything you would think of on a commercial machine. That's what this is. So we have our this is our paddle. Look at that. That is incredible, huh?
And it's heavy.
It's heavy. It says here, Hobart HL6, patent pending, on the edge of the paddle. Look at that baby. We have the dough hook, which is a spiral dough hook. It's heavy as I don't know what. It says Hobart HL6 on it. It's a beast. And finally, we have our whisk. And see what I mean? How this has got some rust on it. I don't know why that is, because I don't know what kind of metal this is made out of, that it would rust like that. Maybe some of my mixer experts will know why it did that. But it's only this top piece. So whatever this is made out of, you know, this is like, I don't know. Maybe someone knows what that's made out of. Also up front here, it has a hub. And this hub should use all our KitchenAid attachments. So we'll put our paddle on here. Listen to, it's squeaky, it's rattly, it moves around a little bit. While at the same time, I think this mixer's ready to get down, right? So Eric changed out the little bumpers, the feet on the bottom, because we thought maybe the feet were uneven, causing that rocking, but it didn't help any. So it's pretty much the same. So with all its screeching and loudness and bopping around and everything else, this mixer is fantastic. I don't know, your average everyday cook probably wouldn't feel the same way about this mixer that I do, because it's clunky and it's everything you would think of in a commercial appliance. But to me, this thing is out of this world. So in terms of the overall look and feel, I give it an A. So we're beating down some peanut butter cookies. I have butter here in the mixer. Whoa. Of course we don't have a scraper paddle. That's not an option. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get our sugar in here, brown sugar and white sugar. We're gonna cream these. Put in some PB, peanut butter, naturally. Peanut butter cookies without the peanut butter.
I got dibs on the bowl.
Yeah. I figured you would, Bill. Amy's a happy girl right now. Put some eggs. Do a little scrapey. Does it have a scraper paddle? No.
Sorry, ma'am. This mixer was made in Area 51.
Sorry, man. We don't do that around here. Oh, Amy's a happy girl, right? So I got some flour, salt, baking powder, and baking soda. And I'm just going to do a little mixy. Let's rock and roll. Yeah. Guys and gals, this is what a mixer should do. Let's let Hobart show you how it's done. Twisting it.
Does it come in passionate purple pink?
No, gray only. Look at that. Woohoo! Okay. What do you guys think, Amy's opinion of the paddle on the HL6. Amy is a happy girl.
Looks like it's all mixed.
Of course you don't have a scraper paddle. Of course it's bouncy wouncy. Of course I feel like the stuff's flying off in my face. Of course it's not totally as easy as some mixers to put it in because you don't have a splash guard. Though probably the KitchenAid might work on this, the one for the Pro 600, but yeah, the Hobart rocked the house, so it gets an A. It's time for some bread dough. So we're making 2 loaves of bread here. I'm going to put in our water and also our yeast. And I use active dry, so we're going to have to let this proof for a second. Get a little quick stir. I'm going to add a little bit of sugar. Let the yeast have a little food to eat. And let me let this proof for about 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to put the rest of my sugar in. And I'm going to put a little oil in here as well. And I'm going to hold off for my salt. I'm on 1 right now. I got 6 cups of flour. We're doing 2 loaves of bread today. Now I'm going to put in the salt. We're on a 1 right now. This looks like a pretty stiff dough. Add a little bit of water. Wow. This is a 1.
It's not climbing up the hook or anything.
It's not climbing the hook. It's only on a 1.
Now, is this what you call kneading? It's not just throwing it around, but it's actually working.
I mean, it's moving like around. It's not just spinning it. Yeah, 2 is too high for this. Okay, let me get this out and onto a board. So the mixer didn't seem like it struggled really at all. It gave you the sound of a typical planetary mixer. I can tell you this, you can't really take, like when we did those Bosch Ank challenges where you're making 7, 8 loaves of bread. You're never going to do that in a planetary mixer unless you have a big floor model 20 quart Hobart. You're not going to do it in a planetary. A countertop planetary mixer is not designed for that. I think it did a great job. I think we have a really nice ball of dough that's pretty big. We're gonna have 2 nice loaves of bread out of this. As compared to other planetary mixers, I honestly think that the Hobart can like take abuse for a long period of time. I think that it will just keep going and going. I just have that feeling about it. Sometimes when I use something like a Pro 600, I'm like, wow, this thing's gonna croak at any minute, right? I think that Hobart, I could see that Hobart making bread for you every single week for years and years and years. I'm talking years. I just have that feeling about it. And a lot of that is just my experience using a lot of mixers. Sometimes when I do a basic cookie dough, I can tell like just in the basic creaming whether the mixer is sort of this type of mixer versus another type of mixer. I can just tell based on the way the motor sounds. I just can't explain it. It's just basically my experience having used so many of them. It's a great mixer. It's a great planetary mixer. It will never compete with something that can do 5, 6, 7 loads of bread. It's not what it's designed for. I think for the home use, if you want to make bread on a weekly basis or an every couple day basis and you are thinking about getting a Hobart N50, I think it's a great choice. It's also a very expensive mixer. I think that you can get the performance of that mixer to some extent. I think you can get it on a higher end Kenwood. I don't think you can get it on even the high end KitchenAids. I would say, the larger KitchenAids that I have used, compare that to where the Hobart performed. I think you get a more robust machine with the Hobart. I think it's going to be longer lasting. I just think it's just more of a beast of a machine over everything that KitchenAid is offering. Over the big end Kenwoods, I don't know, it would be an interesting challenge to put the Cooking Chef up against that HL6. I would say just like the basic look and feel of the Kenwood, you're probably going to say it's more refined, it's more appropriate for a home user as opposed to a big old beast of a Hobart. But I'm going to tell you, the beast of the Hobart, it's a great mixer. It's a great mixer. But the beast of the Hobart is whether it's appropriate for a home cook. It would only be appropriate for an advanced home cook that plans to make bread on a regular basis. I think with the price, $2,500 versus you could get a nice robust Kenwood, that's something you would have to weigh. But the Hobart is a prize. Let me tell you, the Hobart is a prize. And especially that one being unique as it is, I'm really glad to have it. My overall grade on the bread, I think it did a great job for a planetary mixer. I give it an A on that. I give the Hobart an A, but in light also that it's a commercial mixer and you have to know that you're not going to have the same look and feel and the luxurious action you would by getting a robust machine like a Hobart. But I think it's a great machine. And, if you were to have one of these on your counter, when I walk into your kitchen, I know that you're a serious cook. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining me, and thank you. I had a great time testing out the HL6. We're going to play with it some more, but I can tell you that I'm really, really glad to have it. If you like this video, please subscribe below. Leave me a comment and a like, and visit my website at amylearnstocook.com. I'm also on Twitter and Pinterest at Amy Learns to Cook. On Facebook, I'm at facebook.com/groups/Amy Learns to Cook. If you have any thoughts about the HL6, go ahead and join my Facebook group and join in on the conversation. I'm also on Instagram at Cooking with Amy. Yeah, we're gonna have some bread.